Hi everyone, it's Diane and I'm here in Texas and it is, let's see, I'm not gonna look at my watch because then I'll bobble this around, but close to 6 I would think. Just got home, still in the car, obviously the dashboard confessional again. My daughter Robin is getting married in about a month, almost exactly a month. And had a bridal shower, and it was lovely house. Her stepsister just has a lovely home. I just can't even describe it, but so many friends came out and family members and all the bridesmaids. And anyway, it was I think hopefully Robin had a great time. It's that special time in her life, and you know, well, you kind of know me, you kind of don't know me, but you know, I don't know all about these shower stuff and you know, what do you wear? You know, it's kind of difficult for me. It's like I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna wear a dress. Then I'm like, I woke up this morning, I was like, nah, don't really feel like a dress. And let me put my glasses on. I'm going to lower this and you can maybe see what I'm wearing. I know you can't see. I may post a picture on Instagram, maybe. This is a little honeybee glass charm from James Avery. And anyway, the top is really cool. And then I had some like capri white jeans that have slashes in them, you know, but they have fabric behind it, so it's not like you're seeing skin, so it just adds kind of a texture to it. And then of course, you know, you got to have all the other stuff, all the bracelets, and I don't know if you can see. This one here has Indian nickels on it, and I've had it for forever. And of course, pearl, silver, and turquoise. What I said in some of my earlier videos is definitely not the real Holy Trinity, which is Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit, but fashion-wise, to me, turquoise, sterling silver, and pearls. That does it for me. So whenever I can throw it all together, I do. And let's see, what else can I share? Oh, I was trying to think of something else from today. Oh, Robin's has quite a few bridesmaids, and everyone's going to have kind of their own dress. They're picking their own dress out, but tonal wise and color wise, it's all going to be cohesive. So some of the bridesmaids brought dresses that they had selected, and Carlos's sister had purchased 2, and one of them was super cool. So anyway, really great idea. I know I'm going to switch this over. My daughter Jennifer, when she got married, everyone chose their style of dress, and they were all black short dresses. Really beautiful. It was not just matchy. It just made it more interesting, but as you know, that's kind of how I am. This today ended up being sunny. Friday was pretty good weather, and went out to Celebration, which I love. Been going to that restaurant probably when the kids were born, or when Robin was born. That's how long it's been there, and she's going to be 37. The food is fabulous. Pot roast, I've gotten it every time lately. No fat, wonderful. You get to choose, it's kind of family style. So, you know, you get a salad or soup, and everything's, what, when they can, they buy local, which makes it really fresh. And they had this like Mexican corn, and it was corn off the cob. It had some kind of jazz to it. I don't know, cumin or something that kind of gave you that little touch of heat. It had mayo in it, and that's almost why we didn't select it, as I'm a Miracle Whip girl. At least in my lifetime, you know, there's two camps. It's Miracle Whip, which I grew up with, or mayo. And mayo I just cannot do. And this had mayo in it. And then it had some Mexican cheese, and I'm not sure what else, but it came out, the corn was like just off the cob. That's how great it was. They bring out the muffins, just the whole thing. I love everything about it. Had a glass of wine, good glass of, I think it was Merlot, and, you know, had gotten away from drinking wine that much. But it made the meal so much, gave it a whole nother dimension to it. So good wine, good food. Got there kind of late, so we were kind of closing the place down. But I ended up bringing home the leftovers, which was just a little bit of the pot roast, some of the mashed potatoes with, you know, some of the skin in it, and then, we got zucchini that had been roasted with onions and tomatoes, I think. I may be wrong, but just really yummy. So it had little bits of that left over. And late last night, well, I had a big brunch, so I'll tell you about that in a second. But just to carry on the conversation with what I did with the leftovers, is I had made taco soup, and I love this taco soup. It comes out different every time you make it, every time I make it. Got it from Weight Watchers and kind of just adjusted it to what I like. And anyway, so I had some in the freezer. I thought, okay, I'm going to thaw that out. Usually I put, you know, light sour cream, some cheddar, tostados, and you know how a lot of times in the bag they come out so salty, so I just kind of run some water over it, because it's going in the soup anyway, and it gets off that excess sodium. So put a little bit of, I don't know, I think I did not go with the cheese, and then heated up the leftover corn and potatoes and zucchini and put that in there. It was wonderful. I wish I had enough to have more right now. In fact, I had what was left over before I went to the shower. And anyway, very good. I do want to run out and buy some zucchini and tomatoes and onions. I don't have an outside grill, so I have to figure out, I guess, bake them or steam them, something maybe. Anyone got some ideas? Or what seasoning you would put in it, or any recipes for Mexican street corn? That's what it is. It's Mexican street corn. Sorry, I have no tripod, so this is really shaky. Anyway, it's just delicious. So I'm going to try and recreate it, because I can't always go over to Celebration. I mean, it's in Dallas, but excellent. If you're ever in the area, highly recommend. Anyway, so did that, and yesterday, a friend was having a birthday, and decided we were going to do this brunch, at Blue Mesa, which is it's Mexican food, and it was not a cheap brunch, but you got mimosas, or you could have poinsettias, which is like a mimosa. It's got champagne in it, but it has cranberry juice. Both were great. The omelets were fabulous. There was so much on that, options for the brunch, you know, I just don't have a big appetite lately, and I kind of wish I just stuck with the omelet and gone back for a second one, but it was really good. They had biscuits. They had these black or blue mesa empanadas that were delicious. They had fresh fruit. They had dessert if you had any room for it. Anyway, just really good, but try to get some friends to go and make it more of a celebration. And two of our friends were able to, you know, had said that they would come. Well, lo and behold, yesterday, bad weather was coming in. I mean, like, really bad weather. And, you know, sometimes friends will just opt out because, gee, you know, it's going to be, who knows what's going to happen. And Texas, it's kind of unpredictable. And again, sorry for all the movement on this camera. But, I mean, there was some really bad stuff coming in. But they were troopers. They showed up. Ended up, I think we got there a little bit after 11:30. I think we left at, let's see, probably 20 after 4. We really had some great conversation. Got to, you know, when you have kind of a big group of people that get together, sometimes when you break it down to smaller groups, you get to really some deep conversation and get to know people and a whole nother side of them. So really enjoyed the friends coming out. So there was 4 of us, and just very enjoyable. You know, someone asked, what in the world could you talk about, you know, in that time? And it just didn't seem like it was that long. But anyway, we're sitting there and we're by the patio, right? All of a sudden, you know, I see the trees, and you can just see the velocity of the wind. It's like, oh, it's coming. And all of a sudden, these 2 doors that open into the restaurant blew open. I mean, that's how strong the winds were. And we had to move tables because, you know, they weren't sure what was going to happen. And, you know, we get tornadoes here, or straight line winds, or heavy winds. So that was kind of felt like a hurricane party or tornado party. But so that was fun. And by the time we left at 4:20, it had stopped raining for the day, at least in my area. So that was great fun, really good time. Let me see what else is going on. I don't think I have, one thing about a ukulele. My daughters gave me a gift card for Amazon, and when I get gift cards or something like that, like a cash award or something, I try to, you know, I could have used it for getting the dog's medicine or the things that I order over, you know, continually from myself, vitamins or whatever. And it's like, you know, that's not memorable. You know, it's wonderful when you can take, you know, a gift and then add a little bit more money to it and buy something that every time you look at it, I'll think of my daughters. So there was this unique ukulele, and I think it's the Fluke company, and which sounds really weird, but it's a very different type of ukulele. In fact, it came in a box, and I thought, there's no way that this ukulele is in here. It's not big enough. The box is not big enough. And it kind of reminds me of like a Oriental style almost ukulele, if that makes sense. The front of it, most of it is some kind of really heavy duty plastic, and it's meant to be, you know, a ukulele you can take on the go. So, but the front, the top part of it is wood, and it's painted like a surfboard, and really cool. Very, the headstock on it has like open, I don't know how to say it, describe it. I'd have to show it to you, but really cool design to it. And the bottom is flat. It's not a rounded ukulele, and you can actually stand it up standalone. So that was cool. Well, it came, must have been Wednesday, I think it came. And, first thing I do is get out my tuner and try to, see how it sounds. And I was trying to, okay, let me think it. Top one's good cooks eat a lot. So it was the string, A string on the ukulele. And I had not moved it that much. And that ukulele string broke. Just snapped. It's like there was no grace. There was no excess that I could fix it with. So it was like, oh my gosh, I'd bought some ukuleles that had come with extra stuff, and I thought, there's got to be some that came with Aquila strings, and I couldn't find any. I found some extra black ukulele strings. So luckily the bottom was where you just slide a knot into it, and you don't have to do any fancy rigmarole with it. And I tried, I looked at how it was threaded through the tuner pegs, and I think I did it right. So anyway, got it going, and then ordered off of Amazon the actual strings that it came with. So I need to put that on. But it's really a fun little, it's a soprano, so it's tiny. And like I said, it was so tiny, I didn't know how it could be in that box. And lo and behold, it was. Anyway, it has a really good sound, and it's one of those that you can just kind of like an outdoor ukulele. Sorry. I think it should be more stable, at least with the strings. Maybe I have to restring the whole thing, but to have a little bit, leeway on the tuning. But so that was the big kind of quandary, is this thing just popped, and I just got this thing, and I'm like, am I going to send this back? And actually I dealt with the company that had put together the offering. It came with a bag, and last time I needed to send something back, they weren't real cooperative. So I thought, okay, let me use my own resources, fix this thing. Anyway, it's gonna be fine, and it's gonna remind me of my daughters all the time. So oh, a friend of mine went walking. I think it was on Tuesday in the evening, and talking, and finally sat in the car, and we're just talking about all kinds of things. They had been out of town, and we were just talking, stuff. Anyway, started to drive home, and I was having a conversation about whether I should go back to the doctor to make sure that the infection's totally gone. And all of a sudden I get this, it's like 10:15, 10:20, and a coworker friend of mine is calling me, and I'm like, she lives in Oregon, and it's like, why in the world what happened? What's going on? And she said, Diane? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, do you know you're on Facebook Live? And I'm like, holy moly. I'm like, no. And she said, well, I hear you talking. I'm like, I don't want to know what you heard. Thank you for letting me know. And I jumped off that phone call, went to Facebook, and I never do Facebook Live. I only do YouTube. And I don't know how that blasted thing started. And it wasn't an app that I had up. It was in the background. But I don't know if this phone is so smart, or Facebook is so smart. It keyed off, or Siri, or that's what I call it, Siri, started Facebook Live. So, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I say? What was heard? And so I knew one person, and we called my friend's sister to see if she had any notification, and she said she had, but the content was gone. So I did delete what was on there. And so I talked to my sister Tracy, I think on Friday, and Thursday or Friday, and she was telling me, I was just telling her what had happened, and I hadn't gotten any private messages from anybody, so I'm thinking, okay, it was late enough, not too much damage. So I told her about it. We got off the phone, and she called me back, and she is just dying laughing. And she said, Diane, Camden saw your Facebook Live, and I can hear her in the background, and she is cackling. She is like laughing. She said it was the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. And, told me somewhat of where what part of the conversation she overheard. She was dying laughing. I'm like, Camden, if that should ever happen again, you need to call me. She's like, I don't have your phone number. I'm like, get it from your mom. So just beware. It can happen. It did happen. And you can just think about it when you're not really thinking about what you're saying or who you're talking about or what you're talking about. I'm sure you don't want it broadcasted around the world. So just beware. And I thought there's got to be some type of control over this thing. And I'm thinking at some point this is going to be funny, but this is not funny. And it's a memory maker. Obviously, I'm talking to you about it, but so I went into the settings and I turned off the microphone for Facebook. So that will cover at least one aspect of it. So now I'm very conscious of what's pulled up in the background and shut it down. And anyway, I was just going to warn you that it did happen. I don't know how it happened. And I never do Facebook Live, ever. And it did it on its own. And it couldn't have been that I swiped it because it wasn't up on my screen. So, anybody know how that could have happened? Let me know. But beware, turn off your microphone, if you don't want to be caught off guard. So, it could have been really worse. I don't even know if that's proper grammar. It could have been really, really bad. Damage was low, and Camden did say, well, there was only me and another person on. So that must have been Rita Marie and Camden. So I'm thinking, and I said, okay, well, how long did you hear me before I shut it down? And she said 5 minutes. So that gave me kind of the gateway of what part of the conversation. It was just horrifying. Anyway, it's kind of funny at this moment, but not really. So just FYI, beware. I'm sitting here in my car in the parking lot. Need to go in, but here's a little bug. Just wanted to stop in and say hi. I'm alive, doing a little bit better, building up a little bit more energy, or what's the word? Stamina. That's a good word. Stamina. So hoping to go walking again this week and just kind of get back to normal. But I'm going to show you one more bracelet. I'm going to move this down. I don't know if you can. This bracelet is James Avery, a really thick chain with a heart. And I don't know if you can see two of these bracelets that are by the nickel bracelet. Those are flatware, and old flatware, and made into bracelets. And I've got let's see, two on over here. Anyway, very sturdy. I got these in Canton at their trade day, but they do have people on Etsy that sell them. So, you know me, I'm just kind of quirky. So, hope you're doing well. Just dropping by another Dashboard Confessional, and I'm going to go in and see my dogs, get them fed, and figure out what's for dinner. Bye, guys.